once again, that term African American has really come to the forefront. And this one sister is taking issue because some African immigrants are saying to us that, no, you guys are African. I mean, all of a sudden, after delineation, now we're being told that we're African. Before, we wanted to claim African, we were being told we're not African. We wasn't born there. Now with delineation, now we're African. Let's go ahead and roll what this sister has to say.
Listen, if I gotta be called an African American, why Jamaican don't gotta be called African Jamaican, African Haitian, African Cuban, African Dominican? Why is America the only place where this colored people gotta call themselves African American? Then they try to make it seem like we hate ourselves. Then everybody else hate themselves too, because nobody else is putting African in front of their. We could be indigenous all around the world, except for America. America's the only place that black people isn't. Everybody else get to claim their land. Even with that Moana movie, and people was like, oh, they're black. And they was like, oh, we don't consider ourselves black, or we don't consider ourselves African. We're not of African descent. Nobody bothered them. Nobody bothered them. But somehow black Americans is on y'all mind so much that y'all want to tell us we African American. Well, y'all put African in front of all of y'all stuff, and then maybe we'll follow suit.
Yeah, so many people are so concerned about what we label ourselves, what we call ourselves, right? Like when black people said, okay, FBA, they really say, whoa, so you're rejecting being African? Well, this is so confusing. Because before, when everybody say, yeah, man, we African, we're going to wear the kente cloth, we're going to wear all the African. Well, I mean, y'all wear it, but, you know, you're not really African. You just American. You black. You this and that, right? Constantly told when we talk about African immigrants, not brothers and sisters on the continent, but some African immigrants will say that. Now you say, okay, cool. We need to embrace being black, being a black American. Now we told that we don't want to embrace being an African. You are an African. Like, you know how many videos I've seen that as lately telling us that we are African? I'm telling you, as a person that go to the African continent, love going to the African continent, we are not culturally African. We're not culturally African. We're not. We're culturally black American, because I stick out like a sore thumb with my black American culture when I get there. I stick out. I don't have I wasn't raised like them. I don't eat like them. I don't have their traditions. I don't have their story. I have none of that. I have the story of black America. So now you want to tell us that we're African. Okay. You want to show us that we're African? I'm gonna give you a surefire way to show us that we're African. The EU. If you have grandparents or some ancestry to a particular European country, you as a white person can get an EU passport. In other words, the EU is saying you can come on home to Europe. There's a passport waiting for you. If we're doing it by lineage, if you could trace your European ancestor to some European country, like a grandparent or whatever, you can go get an EU passport today. Why haven't y'all said that in the African continent, right? Why haven't the African Union said that? Say, hey, if you in the diaspora, like the Caribbean, because the Caribbeans dealt with the slave trade too. If you in Latin America, they dealt with the slave trade too. And also us here in America, the FBAs. Y'all are Africans. Y'all are displaced Africans. So all you got to do is come here to the African Union here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and come get your passport. Come get one. Whatever country that you want to be in, come get one. We're gonna work with that government and make sure that we got it for you. Right? Then at that point, you're saying, okay, now we can become African because you're telling us that we got a passport or we can come on home to Africa. So the Europeans can go get their EU passport, but we can't get an African passport. So how you going to tell us that we are African? we know we're not dumb. We know we of African descent. We know that. But we're not culturally African, and neither are you making concessions for us to be African where we could stay. We got to go through the same visa process like white people do. Now, to what that sister was saying about being called African American and now the other one's not called African or whatever, like they never cared about what Caribbeans were doing. They always cared about what we were doing, what our identity is, because we have been the one that's been the standard bearer in the diaspora. That's why. So of course they're going to care more about what we do than others. I mean, the others in the Caribbean wasn't the standard bearers. We the ones speaking and can get attention on people. We are the ones that can speak and get the doors open. So yes, they want a connection to Black America. So when you say, no, I'm not African, I'm FBA, I'm Black American, they say, oh shoot, they're rejecting Africa now. And we can't connect to them and we can't get nothing from them if they're going to do that. So man, you better tell them they're African. Y'all could have did that in the beginning though. When Black people, everybody wanted to be in Africa. Y'all could have opened the door. And you chose not to. We got to go through the same visa process as white people. So people should not worry about what we call ourselves, whether it's FBA, Black American, or whatever. We're going to do whatever we want to do. We're not going to be told, well, no, you're just a confused African. No, we're not a confused African. Oh, well, you don't know where you're from. Yes, I do. I know exactly where I'm from. I'm from these United States of America. I'm not confused. Now, are you confused where you from? Because I know exactly where I'm from. I got my birth certificates proving where I'm from, where I was born. My parents got their birth certificates proving where they were born and where they from, right? And that's just that. But don't let people, like just get you into some confusion and argument about what we call ourselves. No, We are Black Americans, and that's just really what it is. And if nobody can